snow will come back in and the rain will come back in.
The forecasts, for the winter were not supposed to be a winter of much rainfall at all. But as soon as we started training for our ceremony, our sacred ceremony, medicine wheel ceremony, we had a snowfall of 2 feet, and this was in October.
People that were looking out the window were actually seeing the spirals coming in and anchoring into the lake. What was forecasted was a very large snowstorm way, way, way up north, an Alaskan storm. And that one they couldn't track anymore, they lost it, and I believe we got it because we got 2 feet of snow and the ski slopes opened a month early in October. Normally they're very happy if they open on Thanksgiving weekend. Blue Thunder set up this amazing medicine wheel ceremony. So between then October 26th and November 15th, Blue Thunder was traveling around to these 8 other sites on the spoke and organizing people and training them at those areas. On November 15th was the day that we did the giant medicine wheel ceremony where everyone was at the 9 sites simultaneously from sunup most of the day. And we had, amazingly, for a town this size, for this little community, we had about 65 people at our hub site here in Big Bear out on the lake. Then after the medicine wheel ceremony, we wanted to have a celebration so that we could get everybody from all the sites together and we could share our information and our experiences. And we set up a dinner and a wonderful celebration on the 20th. Many of us were kind of praying that there would not be heavy snow until we had our celebration so people could get up here to the mountain from the other areas. And that worked. We were good at that. But on the 20th, where we had this wonderful gathering of people, and we had Aztec dancers from Los Angeles, a family of 11 that were just wonderful, and we had people from all over from different cultures. It was amazing.
It was just a marvelous ceremony, and it was probably about 9 p.m. that night that Jola looked outside and said, "It's snowing, and it's snowing hard." When that snowfall stopped, we again had a 2-foot snowfall.
The children from the Aztec dancers were outside screaming because they had never seen snow. It snowed so heavily that within an hour or so we pretty much had to tell everybody, you're not going anywhere. Where we did really ask that we not have snow so they could come up, we forgot to ask that it be delayed until they got down the mountain.
As the winter progressed, it turned out to be the 2nd wettest winter in history in Bear Valley. And this all happened after all the predictions were that we were in the most severe drought with no end in sight.
Then we have had precipitation throughout the winter, very heavy precipitation, such that the lake, which had been 17 and a half or 18 feet down before we started all of this work, by April or so was full, absolutely full.
It got within 1 inch of the top.
That's the unique thing now. If you look at that lake right now, it's full. Because we haven't had what you might call, any big torrential rains or anything like that. And say, well, it just filled up because of what happened 2 weeks ago.
After last year and the ceremonies with Benny LeBeau, the water came back, and I noticed also the ants came back. Some were different breeds of ants. However, they're back in the trees again. They're coming back, and that's a hopeful thing. Ants can be considered a pest, but actually, they are important.
Fred was mentioning to me when he was a kid, he used to go down into Holcomb Creek and fish. We kind of joke about that because for the last probably 10 or 15 years, I don't think I haven't seen a fish down in there, but I know people fish.
Well, we were lucky to see water.
Yeah, and this year the beaver are back down in there. The beaver ponds are full, and we actually saw some trout down there, and that was the 1st of November, which is really rare. Whenever we do encounter wildlife right now, it's kind of a real blessing for us. We kind of stop and appreciate, whereas before we'd be yelling and maybe shooting a gun or whatever, but now it's like, you know what, we better take care of these people. They have a certain element that we need, I think this time of the year, normally we see things pretty well dried up. Baker Pond generally by this time of year would be dry.
Be dry.
Yeah, and it's full. Some of the backcountry roads still have water running down them. The seeps are still flowing We ran into one yesterday that was not only flowing, it was actually spurting water. And, you know, we haven't seen anything like that for, well, 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
But the water is clear. The spring that comes out of that particular camp there, it's just crystal clear.
Cold and
Cold.
and drinkable, just
Yeah.
great.
The other thing we noticed, particularly yesterday, I noticed that there were a lot of birds. Generally, we don't see that many birds, small birds, large birds flying. The interesting thing is they have water now, whereas this time of year, when the water source dries up, they usually leave the area. A lot of these creeks that Fred and I either walk over or ride over, even on the valley floor here and then up a little bit higher, are still running. And that's kind of odd for us. In the 25 years that I've been here, this time of year it would be really, really rare to see water even trickling in some of these places.
Yeah, usually it's just potholed up in maybe a spot where it's coming right out of the ground, and the creek down below would be completely dry. This year the creek's running right on down all the way through. Especially that creek we were at yesterday, that thing
Yeah.
dries up right off the bat, and it's been watering all summer long.
And it's nice to see the water staying for longer periods of time.
After the medicine wheel, Blue Thunder explained to me that the work had really just begun, and that there was a lot of work that he would like to do around the entire valley that would really bring this grid together. And that's how we got him back out here this year.
Here's the Big Bear Medicine Hole. Here's Big Bear Lake. Here's those 8 points on the outside. The area from Big Bear Lake where we did the ceremony goes out 120 miles out. Now these points right here, these are 4 points vibrating together with sound, and us in the middle. So there's the Big Bear people who were vibrating with the drums and singing songs and asking for prayers, or sending circles out. The drum, every time you hit the drum, your thoughts went out. Electrical energy vibrating, healing all the negative things that happened on the earth, fixing it. Those out here, we're doing the same, sending it in. We were sending it out. They're sending it in. We're sending it out. It's going up. Okay, here's all 8 of them vibrating together. Look at all these energy lines reconnecting. This is the flower of life. Bringing the water. Water went way out, went all the way to Las Vegas. This is how the water works, the vibration, the springs and everything. Right now there's been many springs that has opened in Big Bear. A lot of you know about this. Why have they opened? Because of this. I also predicted last year that when the snow came, I predicted that there'd be no snow this year. And I mentioned also why. Because the vibration and the sound that's going on in this valley will disconnect all the work that we did. Most of it, I shouldn't say all of it. 3/4 of it. But the springs would still try to work. Now what I've been asked to do was to help bring more water and snow here. So I've been here for almost 2 months working and studying the earth again, looking at these peaks on the top of Big Bear to help energize the earth again. Okay, this is what we're doing right now. Reharmonizing the peaks around Big Bear. Tip Top, Onyx, Sugarloaf, Grandview, Crafts, John Doe Flats, Hawes, South Peak, and Silver Peak, and Keller. And then the last one that we'll be doing will be in the center. So we're going up here, a lot of the devastation of the mining and development around this area has disconnected the energy here the last 100 years, almost 200 years. And when they disconnect the electrical energy, well, what we have is this we're going through now. No more water because no snow. So what I'm doing is using crystals, and these hold high energy, white light. So when I vibrate the drum, the energy shoots in here and charges the mountain, and stores the energy back in there and prepares those peaks. That's what I'm doing on all those peaks.